You're talking to her. She's smiling politely. Her lips are saying one thing, but her body is betraying her. Most men don't notice it. They're too focused on what she's saying, trying to say the right thing back. But her attraction isn't verbal. It's nonverbal, primal, ancient. She won't tell you she wants you, but her eyes will flicker in a way that says it louder than any word. Her hands will move nervously, twirling a necklace, touching her collarbone, tapping her fingers. This is the language of desire, and unless you learn to speak it, you'll always be confused by mixed signals. Here's what most men don't understand. A woman's desire is never direct. It's veiled, encoded, covered in layers of self-protection. Not because she's playing games, but because female attraction doesn't originate in logic. It's rooted in emotional safety, social perception, and deep biological coding. If she walks up to you and says, "I want you," she risks judgment. She risks shame. Society has told her, a good woman doesn't express desire, so she hides it, in the way she breathes around you, in how her pupils dilate when you hold her gaze, in how her body leans in, just slightly, when you speak. She wants to be desired, but more than that, she wants you to notice, without her having to say a single word. Desire doesn't live in her smile. It lives in the storm she's hiding behind it. Watch her body when silence falls. If she shifts in her seat, crosses her legs, adjusts her necklace. That's not boredom. That's a subconscious energy she's trying to manage. You see, when a woman is around a man who awakens something inside her, her nervous system reacts first, before she even understands what's happening. It's in the micro movements, the lick of her lips, the brushing of her hair behind her ear, the sudden clearing of her throat. These aren't accidents. They're leaks, tiny cracks in her self-control. And the man who notices? He doesn't point them out. He lets them breathe. Because the more she stays in that tension, the more she starts to spiral into you. If you're into uncovering the hidden psychology behind attraction, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell, because you don't want to miss what's coming next. Here's the tragedy. Most men finally sense the moment, and then they destroy it. She's fidgeting. Her breath changes. Her eyes glance at your mouth. She's slipping into that silent spiral of attraction. And what do most guys do? They talk too much. They joke nervously. They try to fill the silence, because they don't realize. Silence is the seduction. That space between you, that tension she's feeling, that's not discomfort. That's buildup. The mistake is breaking it. Saying things like, "You okay? You seem nervous. Why are you looking at me like that?" And just like that, the trance is broken. The magic is gone. Her body returns to safety. Her mind pulls away. She may smile, but you've already lost her. The man who wins? He doesn't chase the moment. He holds it, like it's natural, like her unraveling is exactly what he expected. When she begins to unravel, when her body shows signs of quiet tension, you don't chase, you don't pounce, you anchor, you stay still, you let your presence do the speaking. And here's what that looks like. Your voice drops slightly. Your words become fewer, more intentional. Your gaze lingers, just long enough to make her heart skip. Your body stays relaxed, but alert. You don't try to fix her nervousness. You let her feel it, because she's not uncomfortable with you. She's uncomfortable with how much she feels around you. And that discomfort? That's your power. You don't have to say a thing. You just let the air between you hum with unspoken gravity. And the more grounded you are, the more her chaos starts to orbit you, not the other way around. This is the essence of Stoic seduction. You become the eye of the storm, calm, centered, while her mind spins with questions she can't even put into words. You're mid-conversation. Maybe you're in a dim bar. Maybe it's across a quiet table. She's laughing, smiling, responding. And then it happens. Her eyes lock onto yours. She holds it. 1 second, 2, 3. And then she looks down. Just a simple glance. Barely noticeable. But if you understand female psychology, You'll recognize it as one of the strongest unconscious tells of desire. Because in the animal kingdom, prolonged eye contact is dominance. Looking away is submission. And when a woman holds your gaze and then drops it, she's not retreating. She's inviting you. She's saying, I feel your presence, and I'm okay with you leading. This isn't shyness. It's not fear. It's her way of softening the intensity, so she doesn't melt completely. Some men get uncomfortable. They break eye contact too soon. Or worse, they make a joke to lighten the mood. Don't. Just stay in it. Let the silence breathe. Let her feel the weight of your awareness. And when you finally break the stare, you do it a heartbeat after she does. That single moment plants a seed in her mind. If he can hold me like that, without even touching me, what else can he do? Here's a paradox that confuses most men. A woman feels safest when she feels on edge. Not unsafe, not threatened, but emotionally stirred, psychologically off balance. You see, emotional safety isn't about being predictable. It's about being grounded, while still igniting something unpredictable in her. When you trigger that internal chaos, the butterflies, the tension, the anticipation, you're making her feel alive. And aliveness is addictive. That's why she's not drawn to the nice guy who always checks in, or the one who gives her 100% attention on day one. He's safe, but he's boring. The man who captivates her, he carries a certain danger. Not the kind that hurts her, but the kind that wakes her up. His silence makes her overthink. His gaze makes her wonder. His presence disrupts her emotional rhythm. And that's exactly what she wants. To feel disarmed. Not because you forced it, but because you're too steady to be moved. In that space, she begins to let go. Of her control, of her guard, of her resistance. And she doesn't even know why. You don't have to touch her for her to feel you. Your words, your energy, the rhythm of your breath, all of it creates an atmosphere. And if you learn to master that space, you'll do more to her body without touching it than most men do with both hands. Imagine this. You're sitting close, not too close. You're not touching, but the air between you is thick. Her mind is scanning every signal you send. Then, you say something simple. Maybe a line like, I like how you look when you're trying not to show what you feel. Or, you know what I'd love to do right now, but I won't? You don't need to explain. Let the suggestion hang in the air. That unfinished sentence becomes a mirror for her imagination. And her imagination? It's far more powerful than anything physical. The man who understands this doesn't force intimacy. He builds it in layers. One breath, one pause, one subtle tension at a time. And by the time his hand finally touches hers, her body has already said yes. At some point, she'll test you. Not intentionally, but emotionally. Her mood might shift. Her tone might get colder. She might say something that feels like a challenge. This is the moment most men flinch. They get reactive, defensive, needy. They try to fix it. Or worse, they chase. But if you do that, you lose the frame. You lose her trust. Because here's the truth. A woman doesn't test you to destroy the connection. She tests you to see if it's safe to fall deeper. She wants to know, will he crumble when I lose control? Can he handle my emotional chaos without becoming chaotic himself? And if your answer is yes, not through words, but through behavior, something magical happens. She relaxes. She softens. She surrenders. Not because you demanded it, but because you earned it. A stoic man stays rooted. His presence doesn't waver when she panics. He doesn't feed her storm. He becomes the anchor in it. And in that emotional gravity, she feels something most women rarely feel around a man, safe to be wild. There's a man she still thinks about, years later. Not because they slept together, not because he bought her gifts or said the right things, but because he made her feel something she couldn't explain. He understood the space between words, the silence between glances, the weight of energy that hangs between two people when no one moves. But everything is being said. He didn't need to touch her to leave fingerprints on her mind. He didn't need to impress her to leave an imprint on her body. He was simply unforgettable. Because he saw something in her she didn't show the world, and he didn't expose it. He just held it, gently, silently, powerfully. That's what women remember. Not noise, not effort, stillness, depth, presence. That one conversation, that one night where nothing happened, but her body felt everything. It's the man who knew how to read her silence that lives rent-free in her mind, even when her bed is warm with someone else. Most men think they need to validate her. You're so beautiful. You're amazing. Any guy would be lucky to have you. And what happens? She smiles politely and emotionally disconnects. Why? Because validation is surface level. It says, I want you to like me. It's predictable. It's needy. It's safe. And she's bored. But attunement? That's different. That's when you see what she isn't saying and respond to it. Attunement is when she says, I'm fine. And instead of backing off, you look her in the eye and say, you don't have to pretend with me. It's when she changes the subject. But you feel the emotional weight behind what she didn't say. You're not validating who she wants to be. You're witnessing who she really is. That's what women starve for. Not another man telling her she's perfect, but a man who sees her cracks and doesn't flinch. The man who attunes, not flatters. He's the one she lets inside, emotionally, and eventually, physically. A woman's arousal doesn't start in her body. It starts in her nervous system, and often, long before she is even aware of it. It begins when your presence shifts the energy in the room, when your calmness regulates her, when your stillness stimulates her imagination more than your touch ever could. This isn't about being hot. It's about being grounded. So grounded that her nervous system relaxes into yours. And in that safety, her desire begins to stir. She might not know why she wants to be closer, why she's suddenly quieter, why her skin feels more awake. But you'll know, because you're not chasing her body. You're awakening her polarity. That magnetic pull that happens when masculine depth meets feminine emotion. You're not triggering her mind with compliments. You're triggering her feminine instinct to surrender, without pressure, without performance, without saying a word. And when that instinct activates, it overrides logic. It overrides guilt. It overrides fear. And that's when she starts to crave you, even if she doesn't understand why. Here's the secret no one teaches. You don't create desire by moving faster. You create it by waiting, not hesitating, not stalling, waiting with control. When you're near her, when the air between you is heavy with possibility, don't reach out. Don't lean in. Don't touch her. Yet. Let her feel the pull. Let the tension expand. Let her body wonder, why hasn't he made a move yet? This is how you shift the dynamic. Because now, she's the one anticipating. She's the one imagining. She's the one wondering what's about to happen. And every second you wait, every millimeter you don't cross, makes the moment more electric. The truth? Anticipation is more addictive than gratification. You're not denying her. You're allowing the moment to saturate. Because when you finally move, when your hand finally grazes her skin, it won't feel like you touched her. It'll feel like she burst. That's how you become unforgettable. Not through how much you do, but through how long you let her want. There comes a moment, after the silence, after the looks, after the tension has simmered just below the surface, where she breaks. But not like crying, not like drama. She softens. Her breath gets slower. Her voice drops. She stops reaching for control and starts reaching for you. This isn't compliance. This isn't submission. This is surrender. The kind that only happens when a woman feels, he gets me. He can hold this. He won't flinch. She's no longer performing, no longer posturing, no no longer trying to impress you. She's just there, present, exposed. And you? You don't rush in. You don't spike the energy. You let it slow. You let her settle. Because now, she's not afraid of the intensity. She's safe inside of it. This is the moment most men never reach, because they force it, or they react to it, or they need it too badly. But when you've held space for long enough, when you've been calm, grounded, and attuned without agenda, she'll give you the one thing she never gives lightly, her trust. And when she trusts you that deeply, her body follows. Here's the part no one talks about. It's not the moment during that she remembers most. It's the moment after, when it's quiet, when nothing needs to be said, when she's left alone with the feeling you created. And here's the truth. Most men disappear after they get what they want. But the men who leave an imprint, they don't disappear. They don't chase either. They remain present, still, calm, grounded. Because the moment after the moment is when her nervous system decides, was that safe or was that sacred? If you rush out, if you talk too much, if you act like you've won, you break the spell. But if you stay with her, emotionally, energetically, just long enough for her to feel seen, that's what stays. Not your words, not your moves, but how she felt around you. She won't remember what shirt you wore. She won't remember what music was playing. But she'll remember this: the silence, the gravity, the sense that I wasn't in control, and I loved it. That's the afterglow. That's your legacy, and that's the man she never forgets.